The Flash 23.1, aka Grodd, written by Brian Buccellato, art by Chris Batista. So, this issue, the only thing you need to know going into it is that Grodd is not around, but the guerrillas, post their attack on Central City, did stick around, and they've been living in quote-unquote peace with the humans. So, we see them just, digging trees, setting up statues, doing things with people, and all the people are like, oh man, these gorillas are great, they're so nice and cool. And he's talking with like the mayors of the towns and like some secretaries of the United Nations, and it's like, hey, are we cool with Gorilla City getting into the United Nations? And like, yeah, gorillas, you're super awesome, we're gonna let you in tomorrow, no big deal. So we see the gorillas are all gathered around the statue unveiling in Central City, and the mayor reads it off just being like, ah, yes, our proud citizens and these new gorillas visiting us and whatnot, we're all happy to be here together, but let's not forget the man who brought us together. And they unveil the statue, and it's of the Flash. And they're like, yes, Flash! I guess he's not here today. Wonder where he is. I sure hope he isn't dead. And then at that point, we see from Forever Evil, the Ultraman is putting the sun into a constant eclipse, and he's like, wait, hold on, what? Everything's going dark. What happens? And speeding across the plains, we see coming into town is Grodd. And he busts in, he's like, all right, that's enough. And all the girls are like, oh God, it's Grodd. Oh geez, what are we going to do? And he flips the statue of Flash, and he's like, Flash is dead. He was weak. You all suck. Stop worshiping him. Worship me instead. And everyone's like, Grodd, hey buddy, we thought you were trapped in the Speed Force. What's going on? And he's just like, yeah, the crime syndicate let me out. And me personally, I'm rolling my eyes at that. Like, I don't think that's how that works. But regardless, it's how the story's doing it right now. So at this point, he's like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, what do you mean you were trapped in this? Or what? Grodd says he has new powers. And he's like, what do you mean new powers? And turns out that, like the elders of their group, he now has evolved in the Speed Force to be able to use telepathy. But not just telepathy, he also has telekinesis. And he sees a news chopper overhead, and he starts to like bring it down. And everyone in the crowd, Gorilla and Human, are like, Grodd, stop it, man, we're going to have to take you out. And we see Pied Piper jumps in and tries to fight Grodd, and Grodd just backhands him away. And right behind him, we see Chroma, Tar Pit, and Girder, who all come up to Grodd, and they're like, hey, Grodd, we were at the meeting with the crime syndicate. We were hoping that like we could all run this city together. That sound cool? Like, we'll all just divvy it up. And Grodd's like, you want to rule it with me? Okay. Counteroffer. And he just starts beating the ever-living crap out of Girder and just tearing him apart. And Tar Pit and Chroma are like, all right, you made your point, goodbye. So at this point, everyone else in this crowd has started dispersing as well. We see everyone's running away, and Grodd starts giving out his like monologue. He's like, gorillas, you've been poisoned with lies. We are not weak. We are not meant to live with the humans. We are meant to rule over them. We can make no peace. And there's like, dude, we were literally making peace. We were like 6 minutes away from just being totally peaceful. Why are you being such a dick about this? And he's just like, oh, I will take you all on or whatever. And then we see Solovar stop him, and he basically tries to telepathy into Grodd's mind. And Grodd uses his telekinesis to take the lightning bolt off of Flash statue and throw it into Solovar's chest, seemingly killing him. But I don't think he's dead. So at that point, Grodd uses his telekinesis to finally bring down the UN chopper that's overhead. It explodes, killing a bunch of UN members, and the gorillas are like, okay, yeah, they're not going to let us live this one down. We got to fight against Grodd. Let's go. So they start charging him. All the humans are also like, okay, everyone shoot at the really bad monkey, none of the other ones. So everyone starts trying to attack Grodd. He starts fighting them all off and is like, really good at it. He's using his Speed Force powers, obviously. And Solovar points in like, Grodd, are you willing to kill every man and ape just to make your point? And he's like, yeah, I'm kind of that pissed off. So at that point, Grodd stands on top of a pile of the bodies he already has. And he's like, all right, telepathy. Everybody listen up. Kneel before me We are taking over. I am ruling this city at the very least, and then I will end up ruling the world and whatnot with my army of apes. So kneel before Grodd, and everyone kneels before him. And very quickly, it seems like within the course of a day, the gorillas turn on the humans and they start putting them into like camps and stuff like that, and they essentially rule over all of them. And we see that the other criminals who were planning on taking over the city, aka Chroma, he's dead. His head is just off his body. He's gone. And like the Flash statue is taken down. Solivar is chained to it. And one of the other apes, one of the elders, comes up and is like, "Hey, Grodd, you said that apes should be in charge, but you're kind of chained up Solivar, and a lot of people think that he's cool. So it's kind of not doing well with your numbers." And Grodd's like, "Oh, is that so? Okay, well, you know what? I have a solution for that." And he cuts off the ape that told him that's head and puts it on a pike along with like the mayor's head and such like that. And he basically says like, "Yeah, no, like we can't live together. We are far too different. We must remain separate, and one of us will rule over the other." And as he stands before his gorilla army, he's like, "Flash isn't coming. I've done it. I've ruled over the city. None can take me over. I have control of the Speed Force. I am everything I wanted to be." And he sits down on his throne and he says, "I'm bored." And then he just leaps off his throne and flies away. And all the gorillas are left like, "I'm sorry, what was that? What just happened?" And it says here, to be continued in Forever Evil Rogues Rebellion, which I know is one of the little side series that's going on soon enough. So yeah, that's a book. I actually really like this because obviously we went through Grodd's origin already. We already went through that in The Flash. So this is just a nice little thing of, hey, Grodd's back and he is stronger than ever. No one is able to take him down. And so what happens? What happens when the Flash doesn't show up to save the day? And Grodd wins. Of course, I mean, it makes sense. It lays it all out in a reasonable fashion as to how he manages to win. But I think the best part of it is the end, where once he gets everything he wants, he realizes, no, it's never going to be enough. Like, yeah, he rules this city. So what? I want more. And he just leaps off. So I'm curious to see how that's going to flow into the Rogues Rebellion stuff, but I like the direction it takes at the very least. So I'm going to give this one I'm going to give it a solid 8. I really did enjoy reading it. I think it was a good time overall. So it's also nice that Brian Buccellato, who's obviously writing the main series, is going to be writing all of the Flash tie-ins. So kudos on that. It's really going to feel like it flows well. At least hopefully it will. So yeah, 8 for this. Looking forward to the rest.